Good morning, kids. Today we're checking out a brand new video from True Green 7 of turning more legendary Pokemon into regular counterparts. Let's hop in and see who gets it today.
Hey guys, Ron here, and
Hey,
over the
Ron.
last year I've been trying out some Fakemon trends, like making new Pokemon by changing one letter from existing Pokemon, creating brand new
Love it.
Pokemon from existing Pokemon names,
Love
and a
it.
couple of months ago I decided to hop on the most requested trend, which was turning legendary Pokemon into regular old Pokemon. You guys loved that video
Classic.
way more than expected. You went bonkers for Alpacius, rioting in the streets asking for more.
Oh,
I mean,
jeez.
think of Carbink or Cyclizar. This is already a phenomenon in the franchise. There are many good examples online of de-legendary
Aw.
Pokemon, but a lot of them seem like pre-evolved forms of legendary Pokemon.
Oh yeah, you're
That's
right.
great and all, but I already have a series where I create prevos for legendary Pokemon. So keep in mind that I'm not turning any legendaries into like babies.
Damn, he's big.
They can still look like fully evolved Pokemon as long as they are no longer legendaries, but rather entire species that can be found in the game. I'm gonna treat the Fakemon I'm gonna make like new Pokemon that have the concept of the original legendaries they're based on, but without the epic lore and complicated godlike designs. But naturally,
Yeah.
there is a spectrum. You never know what we're gonna do here in True Green 7. I may end the
Looks
video
like
right
this,
now to keep you on your toes.
but it's not
While I have
this.
you, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy so I know to continue the series.
Yeah,
Let's
come
naturally
on.
begin
Like,
with
comment,
Mewtwo.
and subscribe,
Pretty weird to
folks.
refer to Mewtwo as natural though, I know, since he's an artificial being. But our non-legendary Mewtwo will be all natural. What if this monster was just a relatively common cat Pokemon? Something inspired by Sphinx cats, who for some reason are always associated with the psychic type among Fakemon artists?
I'm so sorry about that, folks. I am so sorry about sneezing on camera like that.
Imagine a cat counterpart to Lucario and Zoroark, but a little bit less powerful. Grumpy, but
Okay.
not like megalomaniacal like Mewtwo. So my goal is to not make a Mew. It can't look like a Mew or a pre-evolved Mewtwo. Although a more natural Mewtwo will naturally look like a mini Mewtwo. Originally, it was going to be way
Yeah.
smaller, but I realized I wanted it to be a fully evolved Pokemon akin to Lucario. Again, not as strong as one though. It doesn't have any cool pose because it's not important. This is just your average psychic cat Pokemon. It's not special. I mean, its special attack is going to be high, but it's not, special. That's why
We
it
get
has more
it.
of a cat snout.
It's not going to be special, but it is still going to have a damn good special attack stat.
Simpler and cuter version of Mewtwo's ears and a big forehead to make it look cute. Even though it's supposed to look cuter than a Mewtwo, Mewtwo has a bigger forehead since it represents its intelligence, but that'll help this Pokemon look less like a Prevo and more like a less intelligent Mewtwo, which is still technically intelligent, just not more intelligent than a human scientist or anything.
Ooh,
It's
hey, what you could do for the tube thing on the back of its neck, you could make it like a part of its collar or something. Like it wears a leash or something, but then it's like snapped off and like
Not gonna have
running
any
away
fur
constantly
except
or
for,
something. I
around
don't know.
its chest to make it look cuter and avoid revealing its bare chest like Mewtwo. Because Mewtwo's alien chest is what makes it look synthetic. Cat paws instead of individual alien fingers, more gentle eyes and
Yeah, but those
holes in the
weird
ears so
balls.
it looks less artificial. I'm adding lines to represent the wrinkles on its skin, like a Sphinx cat, and a rudimentary tail instead of one that looks like an umbilical cord, like Mewtwo's tail. I'm gonna add darker versions of Mewtwo's colors, but honestly, I don't think that would be the color Game Freak would choose if this thing was designed independently from Mewtwo. So I gave it pink for psychic and skin. Now it looks like its own thing and not simply Cat Mewtwo.
It's
Although
good.
obviously it's still
I
inspired
like
by
it.
Mewtwo, so no harm in it looking related. This is Meowth, the hereditary Pokemon, a psychic type from Meow and Mutant. This Pokemon's genes are so
like
pure,
it.
they are directly linked to the new species Pokemon Mew. It walks around consuming knowledge, it never forgets, and is often used as an assistant to important scientists and leaders. Its telekinesis is so precise, it can thread a needle and tie a knot using its
Damn, it's only 2 foot. It's only 3 foot.
mind. Mountains
2 foot
are
11.
currently
Come
being
on,
trained to
30
perform
foot.
surgery. It isn't particularly friendly, but will genuinely listen to those who teach it about life. In battle, it emits a force that repels attacks. It enjoys when its opponents overcome its moves, giving it the opportunity to learn a new technique and fortify its skills. It has the abilities Magic Bounce,
Dude, you gave this thing 124 special attack? Damn!
Telepathy, and the hidden ability Protean.
That's
It's
awesome.
shiny, similar to Mewtwo's. Honestly, it's pretty straightforward design. Mewtwo if it wasn't legendary. I think I was successful in doing that. I could have made it cuter, but then it would have looked like a Prevo for sure.
Yeah, maybe a little. Oop, hold on, folks. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Next is Latios. I know I'm gonna have some
Oh.
Latios fans too, but the final
Okay.
product will easily represent both. Just like, imagine it's red and smiling. Latios, the Eon
Okay.
Pokemon, is a psychic dragon mixed with a jet. It's the pinnacle of psychic powers and flight. But psychic dragon is literally the most legendary type combination imaginable. So what if we made a feathered Pokemon about as common as an Absol that flew over the open oceans and represents the sky? a pure flying type, something that could
We
be
could do
perceived
that.
as related to
Or
the
something like
Togekiss
that,
line,
maybe.
to tickle the fancy of those who believe in the theory that the Eon duo is related to Togepi. I mean, I believe in it too. Let's do it! So it's a smaller Latios with bird wings instead of jet wings and arms. It's feisty, but relatively more innocent. Its ears are more like tufts of feathers, and it has an inverted pattern to what Latios has to look more like a helmet. Tons of bird feathers and legs modeled after Latios' arms. Its tail feathers are bird-like versions of the spikes Latios has on its butt. A pattern similar to the delta that the Eon duo sports, but also other triangles to mimic the patterns on Togetic. To make it look more like an egg and therefore more avian. They're very biologically similar, can't dispute it. Just making the eyes flow better than the patterns surrounding it. I know.
I'll be honest, it kind of almost looks like a split evolution to Togetic. Like instead of Togetic becoming Togekiss, it became this.
Noticed I added too much detail, so I
like
streamlined
it.
it a bit, consolidating some feathers, truncated some spikes, and tripnotated the Fleebles. That last part was gibberish. I just want to make sure you're paying attention. This guy's color palette will allow it to camouflage into the sky. Since it doesn't have invisibility powers like Latios, it's a nice nod to its legendary form. I took out the vestigial arm bones in the wing and added more feathers. Check out Imperios, the Infinite Sky Pokemon, a flying type from Imperium, related to heaven or the sky, and the male suffix os. Imperios flies over the open ocean from region to region. It spends most of its life in the air, learning aerial maneuvers in solitude. It is compelled to find a mate, but prioritizes flying. It only rests when arriving at its current destination. Those who have encountered Imperios immediately understand its goals and endeavors. Imperios and their trainers somehow understand each other without exchanging any words. In battle, it generates tornadoes. Its feathers reflect the atmosphere, allowing it to hide in the sky. It has the abilities Cloud 9, Super Luck, and the hidden ability Gale Wings. Its shiny is the same as Latios's. I'm generally proud of this one. Latios has always been super cool, so making a Pokemon related to it that is both cute and cool has always been my dream. It's really charming, and its relation to Togekiss is very intriguing.
Oh yeah, it's almost kind of obvious.
Magearna, an artificial Pokemon with an artificial soul. One I suppose contains infinity energy. It's supposed to mimic the function of a Pokeball, considering it absorbs the energy of its fainted allies like a Pokemon returning to a Pokeball. What if there was a more primitive Pokemon modeled after an old-fashioned Pokeball? One made from an apricorn, like in the old days. A little feminine grass type with apricorn parts. We have a ton of cute grass types made of plants. Why not one made of apricorns? Why do I feel like I have to justify this idea as if you guys are going to be like, Pokemon made of apricorns? Impossible. Unbelievable. Behold, a being made of apricorns.
Come on. We got a Pokemon literally inside an apple, so give us an apricorn. Why not?
The limbs will be stems of the
I gotta stop saying why not. I'm not a freaking why not.
I like how it looks like a girl in a dress, but I hope you believe what I'm about to say. The dress is really just apricorns. The chest looks like a Pokeball, some patterns that look like the embellishments on a Magearna, but in reality they are just stripes on the nut. I'm gonna refine the entire design, and once I'm done, add more hollow eyes. This way it doesn't look like the eyes of a human.
It almost looks like the middle stage of the Bounce Sweet line.
On a nut.
Oh, that's what he was going for, wasn't it?
Like eyes that were carved into the nut. The colors are these warm magenta, yellow, cream, and brown. Very appetizing colors. Warm colors always look delicious.
Those look tasty.
Don't forget the wood grain. I forgot to mention that it's also inspired by the Pokeballs found in Legends Arceus, which are half apricorn, half wood. Say hi to Feminut, the apricorn Pokemon, a grass type from Feminine and Nut. This Pokemon has the exterior of an apricorn. Its sturdy shell is contrasted by its soft heart. It's incredibly caring and nurturing. It will even carry small Pokemon inside its hollow body. Flowers bloom from its arms. Pokemon are attracted to it, as if a force is pulling them closer to Feminut. Within its body is a soul heart. Previously thought to be exclusive to Magearna, it was in fact studied and recreated in order to create Magearna's artificial soul. Its shiny is a pastel blue and green to match the soft colors of its original palette. It's cute. What more can you ask for? It looks like a children's toy. Very nostalgic to me.
I can't hate it. It's good. Hold on, folks. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Now, Genesect is a Pokemon begging for a non-legendary form. I mean, literally, it's in pain.
It's literally in the
to
lore,
go back to its original state. Genesect is one of the few Pokemon whose original existence is described, but what's super tricky and confusing about creating an original prehistoric unaltered Genesect is that the Pokedex entries are conflicting. It's described as a feared hunter from 300 million years ago that was modified by Team Plasma. In one entry, the game states that they upgraded the cannon on its back, while in Black 2, it is stated that Team Plasma altered it and attached a cannon on its back. So did it originally have a cannon or not? Many artists take a different path when interpreting it as a fossil Pokemon, either with or without a prehistoric cannon. My conclusion is that it had a primitive cannon that shot rocks, but in modern times, a literal plasma cannon was attached to its already existing cannon. So for this, I'm gonna...
I can see that.
Trace. Because I want it to have the exact same proportions as its modern appearance, but smaller. I want it to look like it can fit within the armor of the other design. So it's a bit scrawnier, and
yeah,
literally
that's
no
good.
part of its body will be bigger than its armored form, except for any body part that Team Plasma, might have shaved off. For now, it's pretty straightforward. Originally, I was gonna give it a cannon that shot rocks, but in order for a rock to fit in the cannon, it would end up having a bigger cannon than it does in modern times. So instead of boulders, it shoots out sharp rocks. Its mouth isn't robotic, but rather, it has mandibles of a bug. I'm streamlining stuff and adding spikes that would be
Cute.
filed off by Team Plasma, making it look more primitive with a chunk of its head missing and primeval stripes. Now I'm putting in effort to make sure each body part looks biological instead of mechanical. Original Genesect had holes on its head, and I interpreted that as slots for where antennas used to be, finishing it off and adding Hunter Green, almost like a forest green, to blend in with its surroundings. It's a predator Pokemon. The contrasting bright stripes make it look super dangerous. Beware, Insectile, the Paleozoic Pokemon.
And look at that shiny! It's pure black!
Bug rock
God,
type
that's
from insect
good!
and projectile. Over 300 million years ago, it was feared as the strongest of hunters. It mercilessly pursued its prey through the thick primordial
love
jungles.
this!
Camouflaged by the brush, this Pokemon would shoot a sharp rock from the cannon-like appendage on its back. Its remains have been found fossilized in tar. It has been revived from modern fossils. Its disposition seems to be incompatible with modern civilization, but it's relentless in competitive Pokemon battles. Repeated instances of this Pokemon continuing to attack after knocking out its opponents have led it to be banned from Pokemon battles in most regions. It has the abilities Battle Armor, Sniper, and Technician.
Damn,
God,
it's
this
violent.
shiny is so cool. It's scary. I love how scary it generally is. It's not too
Love
different
it.
from the Genesect we're used to, but they are the same Pokemon after all.
Yeah, who doesn't love
Finally,
it? It's
I
good.
want to see one of the Tapus as a more conventional Pokemon. I want
Really?
to turn Tapu Bulu into a quadrupedal cow, a beautiful and natural bull with wooden accents that can control the growth of crops. I mean, it makes sense for a farm animal to
Why
be
not?
useful to farmers.
Damn it, why do
It's a
I
pretty
keep
easy
saying that?
concept. Don't praise me for it. I mean, you can. I won't stop you. Originally, I was going
You are
to give it
getting
a
praised
body
for it.
more similar to
You're
Tapu
gonna
Bulu,
like it.
which meant no separation between the head and chest. Big buff arms and tiny legs. But goddamn, does this not work? Finally decided to separate the head and give it wooden horns coming out of a wooden helmet. Not an entire wooden casing like Tapu Bulu, but an exoskull on top of its head made of wood. Its ears will be
I think that'll
inspired
be
by
okay.
Tapu Bulu's wooden hat. Throughout the process, I didn't know if I wanted the body to look like a literal cow body or a more fantastical one made of abstract shapes. I also didn't know if I wanted it to look buff or to make it look like a flimsy, skinny wood. It'll have the same bell, but I'll hide it until I know where to
Hold on, what about what if it was like a braising bull just made of wood?
place it. I put it on the tail and began carving the body. I was almost gonna make it a skinny calf, but it just felt right to add the giant hump of a bull. To make it all come together, the legs became a bit more stout and less scrawny. A fine balance between strong, but not too bulky. I even erased some of the lines separating its head from its body to make it look more uniform and akin to its legendary form.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
colors are
good.
literally the same as Tapu Bulu, with some of its tribal patterns as well. Here is Tabul, the land Pokemon, a grass-ground
Tabul.
Pokemon, from Taboo and Bull. This hard-working Pokemon spends its day clearing, tilling, and fertilizing fields. The crops grown by this Pokemon are unparalleled. With the toll of its bell, plants begin to grow. With the stomping of its hooves, entire fields are polarized. It is incredibly
Indescribable.
hard-working. Out of respect for its burden, it is forbidden to antagonize Taboo. Its hide is as hard as bark. Its abilities are Cudchew, Anger Point, and Grassy Surge. Honestly, I like this more than Tapu Bulu. I like how
Oh
it's
yeah, I like
hard-working
it.
as opposed to the lazy Tapu Bulu. And I hope you like this video as well. Enough to leave a like and subscribe for another part, maybe. Make sure to
Well, folks, that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.